not a vacation. Jungkook scene with a foreign team has a secret global project quietly begun. Was that really just a trip, or was the world watching the first frame of something much bigger? Because what fans noticed next changed everything. Not just Jungkook walking alone, not just the airport footage, but the faces around him, different language, different accents, different energy. Fans began freezing frames, zooming in on background details, analyzing reflections on glass walls and passing shadows. And slowly, a new theory formed. Not from rumors, but from patterns. Those people walking near Jungkook did not look like tourists. They did not move like fans. They did not behave like casual staff. They moved like professionals, the kind of professionals who travel quietly, work fast, and disappear without headlines, and suddenly, vacation no longer made sense, because vacations don't look like production. Vacations don't have synchronized movement. Vacations don't involve whispered conversations and coordinated exits. Vacations don't leave digital footprints that look like planning, not rest. This is where the word project began to surface, not from HYB, not from Jungkook, but from the fans who know his rhythm better than anyone. Every major move in Jungkook's career has always had one thing in common: silence before impact. And build-up, and teaser storms, and obvious countdowns. Just absence and then explosion. That is why this moment feels familiar in the most dangerous way. It feels like the calm that comes right before something changes direction. If this is a global project, it would explain the secrecy. International collaborations do not move lightly. They cross labels, contracts, languages, and markets. They require silence until every piece is locked. And Jungkook is not just an artist anymore. He is a bridge between Korea and the West, between pop and fashion, between idol culture and global stardom. If a project is being built around him now, it would not be small. It would not be local. It would not be quiet for long. But right now, it needs to be quiet, because silence protects ambition. HYB saying nothing is not denial. IT is insulation. Big projects don't need hype first. They need stability first. That is why this moment feels dangerous in the best way. Dangerous to predict, dangerous to underestimate, dangerous to ignore. Because if Jungkook is already working with an international team in the shadows, then what fans saw was not a trip. IT was a transfer from one chapter to the next. And the most unsettling part, the world may already be inside the beginning of that next chapter, without even knowing its name yet. Silence, when it stretches too long, stops feeling empty. It starts feeling intentional. That is where the story is now. And denial, and confirmation, just space. And in that space, something is clearly being built. Fans are no longer just speculating about where Jungkook went. They are speculating about what kind of future requires this much quiet. Because ordinary schedules do not need this level of secrecy. Routine collaborations do not leave this kind of shadow. What kind of project needs to move without footprints? The idea of a global collaboration keeps returning because nothing else fits the shape of what people are seeing. The timing, right after his Rolling Stone triple cover. The momentum from Calvin Klein. The return from military service. The renewed global attention. This is the moment when doors open that were previously closed. Labels listen differently now. Producers look differently now. Markets move differently now. Jungkook is no longer knocking. He is being invited, and invitations at this level are never casual. They are negotiated. They are layered. They are planned years ahead, which means whatever he is touching now may not be meant for tomorrow. It may be meant for a year from now, when the world has forgotten this airport video, but will suddenly remember it. Fans have started connecting invisible dots. A producer follows a new account. A stylist appears in a different city. A studio posts a photo and deletes it hours later. None of these prove anything alone. But together, they form a rhythm, and that rhythm sounds like preparation. If this is a global project, it may not even be one thing. It could be music. It could be film. It could be fashion fused with performance. It could be something that does not fit old categories at all. Jungkook has never been content to stay inside labels. Idol, singer, dancer, model. He has quietly erased those borders without making speeches about what comes after erasing borders? You build something that lives between them. That is why the idea of a secret global project feels believable. Because what he represents now is not just talent. It is translation. He translates Korean pop into global language without losing its soul. He translates emotion across cultures without subtitles. That is not something companies waste. That is something they build around. And maybe that is what fans glimpsed at the airport. Not a star traveling, but a center moving data center that others orbit. The foreign teams seen near him might not belong to one country. They might belong to a network. Music, fashion, visuals, strategy, distribution. Different faces for different pieces of the same machine. And that machine does not announce itself until it is ready to move the world. HYBE's silence only sharpens the theory. Because HYBE has never been afraid of hype. If they are quiet now, it is not because nothing is happening. It is because what is happening cannot afford noise yet. Big projects break if shaken too early, so they grow in the dark. Fans feel that darkness now. Not as fear, but as tension. Like the room before a concert when the lights go out and everyone knows something is about to happen, but not what. Every time Jungkook disappears from public view, the silence grows heavier. Every day, without news makes the theory stronger, not weaker. Because if nothing were happening, something would already have denied it, but nothing is denying it, and nothing is confirming it, which is exactly how big things are born. When this project finally reveals itself, whatever it is, it will not feel sudden. It will feel inevitable. People will look back and realize all the signs were there. The triple cover, the global brand momentum, the military return, the quiet travel, the foreign team. They will say, it started back then. We just didn't know how to read it yet. And Jungkook, he will not explain the silence. He never does. He will let the work answer for him. Because when the result is loud enough, the silence that came before it becomes part of the legend. What makes this moment dangerous is not the rumor. It is the timing. History and pop culture shows that true turning points never announce themselves. They arrive disguised as small, confusing movements. And only later do people realize they were watching a shift in real time. Jungkook stands exactly at that kind of edge. He is returning from military service, not as the youngest member finding his place, but as a global figure whose name alone can move markets, headlines, and conversations across continents. That changes how every step he takes is interpreted. Before, his movements were part of a group rhythm. Now, every movement carries its own gravity. That is why this possible secret project feels bigger than any single collaboration. It feels like a structural change. A new way Jungkook exists in the global system of music, fashion, and culture. And that kind of change is never loud at the beginning. It starts with rooms people don't see. Meetings people don't photograph. Conversations people don't leak. It starts with agreements that take months, sometimes years, to finalize that if Jungkook is involved in something global now, it means the seed was planted long before this airport moment. Probably before his military enlistment. Probably when he was already being seen not just as a singer, but as a long-term cultural force. That makes the silence even heavier. Because it means what is happening now is not improvisation. It is execution. Fans sense this. That is why the tone of speculation has changed. It is no longer chaotic. It is focused. People are not asking, is something happening? Anymore, they are asking, what kind of thing takes this long to prepare? Theories range from a massive international album to a cross-industry project blending film and music to a fashion performance hybrid that lives between runway and stage. Some even imagine a global brand platform built around Jungkook as a symbol, not just a face. All of them share one belief. Whatever this is, it is not small, because small things do not need this much protection, and Jungkook himself, whether intentionally or not, keeps feeding the mystery. His public presence is controlled but not absent. He appears just enough to remind people he exists, and then disappears again. That rhythm creates obsession, not because fans are desperate for content, but because they recognize narrative when they see it. They know when a story is being built quietly. Every BTS era has always had a pre-era. A time of confusion before clarity. A time when fans argued about meanings that only became obvious later. This feels like that, except this time, the scale is different. Because Jungkook is no longer just part of a global story. He is capable of carrying one on his own, and that changes what is possible. When the announcement finally comes, it will not start the story. It will only reveal it. The real beginning may already be behind us. hidden inside airport footage, deleted posts, quiet meetings, and long silences. That is why fans keep watching so closely, not because they are bored, but because they know. Once this breaks, there will be no going back to the way things were. This is not a pause, IT is a loading screen, and every loading screen, no matter how quiet, is preparing something that will not be. What makes this moment feel different from past BTS transitions is not just Jungkook's visibility, it is his position. He is no longer emerging. He has already arrived, which means whatever he is doing now is not about proving himself. It is about choosing his next form. That is a terrifying kind of freedom. When an artist no longer needs validation, the only thing left to chase is legacy. Fans feel that shift in his energy. He no longer moves like someone trying to be seen. He moves like someone deciding what deserves to see him. That is why the idea of a secret global project feels less like fantasy and more like logic. This is the phase where artists stop reacting to the industry and start shaping it. Jungkook has the rare position of being both adored and trusted. Brands trust him. Media trusts him. Fans trust him. Even competitors respect him. That kind of trust is currency. And it can buy access to rooms most artists never enter. Rooms where trends are not followed. They are designed. If he is sitting in those rooms now, then the project being built around him may not even have a name yet. It may still be an idea, a shape, a direction, but direction is enough. Because once direction exists, everything else will align toward it. This is why people keep returning to that airport footage. Not because it is dramatic, but because it looks transitional. He does not look rushed. He does not look lost. He looks positioned, like someone standing between chapters, and history shows that artists who stand in that place often come back changed. Not louder, not bigger, but clearer. Clearer about what they are willing to do. Clearer about what they will never do again. Clearer about what matters. That clarity is dangerous to old systems. Because systems survive on predictability. And Jungkook is becoming unpredictable in the most powerful way. Not chaotic, but intentional. HYB staying silent might not be about hiding. It might be about letting him decide the moment of reveal himself. That, too, would be a shift. Because it would mean trusting the artist not just to perform, but to lead narrative. And Jungkook has quietly been learning how to do that for years. From BTS, he learned unity. From solo work, he learned individuality. From global brands, he learned image. From military service, he learned distance. Now he holds all of that at once. If a global project is forming around him, it will not be shallow. It will not be loud for the sake of noise. It will be designed to last. Something that does not chase headlines. Something that becomes one. When it finally appears, people will argue about what it is. Music? Fashion? Culture? Film? Movement? But the argument itself will be proof that it worked, because the most powerful projects are the ones that cannot be easily named. And Jungkook may be about to create exactly that. Not an album, not a campaign, not a comeback, but a presence that moves across all of them, quietly at first and then all at once. That is why this silence feels so heavy, because it is not empty. IT is pregnant with change. And when change is coming, the world rarely hears it arrive. It feels at first as tension, as restlessness, as curiosity that refuses to fade. That is what surrounds Jungkook now. Not scandal, not chaos, but a pressure that keeps building, the kind of pressure that comes before something breaks open. What fans are really sensing is not just a new project. They're sensing a new role. Jungkook is no longer only participating in narratives created around him. He is beginning to author them. That is a dangerous shift for any global star, because once you control narrative, you also control direction. For years, Jungkook has been known as the Golden Maknae, the talented youngest who could do everything. But that title was built inside a group story. Now, he is stepping into a space where he is no longer defined by age, position, or label. He is defined by impact. And impact does not need introduction. If this secret global project exists, it may not even be designed to feel like a project. It might feel like a presence that slowly occupies different spaces at once. One day in music, another day in fashion, another day in culture, another day in something entirely new, until people realize they are seeing the same signature everywhere. Jungkook's. That is how cultural power actually works. It does not shout its name. It repeats its shape until the world recognizes it without being told. Fans are already practicing that recognition. They look at movements now and ask, does this feel like him? They look at rumors and ask, does this fit his rhythm? They look at silence and ask, does this silence sound like his?